This appears to be the proverbial calm before the storm.
And the snow is still coming. Let's go right to Kevin Lawrence to find out where it is.
Mike and Al, thank you very much. Good evening, everybody. Look at how large of a system we're talking about here, and it's a textbook example, and it's one for the record books. It is a very strong area of low pressure. Wind advisories all the way from California to Florida, and advisories all the way to the Canadian border. Big time storm approaching the northern plains. In fact, we continue with a blizzard warning in place here. Denver Metro, a lot of flights canceled. All these red areas are blizzard warning areas, including southwest, south central, and eastern North Dakota. We're in that blizzard warning for the Bismarck-Mandan area all the way down to Bowman County. Dickinson, you have a winter weather advisory. Still expecting a little bit of snow. It won't be quite as bad, though, on these fringe counties. Really nothing in Williston, not much in Minot as well. But I do believe we're going to see a disruption of services, that's transportation most likely, by later tomorrow night. A lot of road closures, I believe, are going to be on the way. So our Sky Tracker Doppler radar, strong cyclone here in Kansas. We're getting the waves of moisture. Might take a little bit of time for the snow to actually fall. It's actually snowing rather heavily in Bismarck-Mandan, several thousand feet above the ground. It'll take some time for that to saturate, for the snow to actually make it to the ground, but there's a big surge of moisture coming in from the east. It'll wrap around into the storm. Once it gets going later tonight, it's really going to get going. And again, blizzard conditions with 50-mile-per-hour or even higher winds can be expected. Right now, the snow near the South Dakota border. What about the wind speed? Sustained right now around 20, but look at the gust here. Getting stronger, not as bad as later tonight, but winds gusting over 40 to 50 by the midnight hour. For now, it's between about 20 and 35. Much more coming up a little bit later.
Here we are, all waiting for the shoe to drop, Kevin.
Yeah, that's right. It'll be later on tonight. If anything, maybe delayed a couple of hours with the onslaught of the worst snow later on tonight, but it's still on the way here. We got a powerful cyclone in Kansas with central pressure down to 974 millibars. To a meteorologist, that means it's basically like a Category 2 hurricane over land. A lot of differences, of course, but again, just the idea of just how strong of a low pressure system this is. And it continues now trekking across Kansas, eventually into Nebraska, and if anything, it might be taking just a little bit more of an easterly shift here, but a little bit longer, and we'll see that snow continue to increase in aerial coverage. Most of South Dakota, a lot of snow. Road closures, if not already, will be on the way. Winds gusting over 40 miles per hour. That snow shield advancing farther north. Again, taking a little bit of time here, a little bit too much dry air in the mid-levels, but once that saturates, we'll begin to see that snow coming down over southern North Dakota later on into the night. The winds will continue to increase as well. Right now, we're at 32 degrees for the Bismarck-Mandan area, Fargo as well, with precipitation breaking out in Jamestown and for the Fargo area. 27 dry in Grand Forks, 36, and not much of a threat for snow in Williston this go around. The winds have been increasing slowly but steady here, with winds from the west-northwest for most areas between about 20 and 25 miles per hour sustained. More of a northerly wind here over central and eastern North Dakota. Occasional gust. This gets a little bit higher here toward Hettinger. Almost 40-mile-per-hour winds also in Mobridge. Again, some of that stronger wind eventually making its way farther toward the north later on tonight. Right now, Garrison gusting to 36 miles per hour. So blizzard conditions are raging on in South Dakota right now, and eventually into southern North Dakota, 7, 8, and 9 o'clock. Again, maybe a couple hours delayed here, but it's still on the way for central and eastern North Dakota, especially after midnight. That's when conditions are really going to deteriorate, especially east of US 83. Blizzard conditions continuing for the morning time frame here, where the accumulating snow still coming down over the James and Red River valleys. The snow ending much more rapidly here toward central portions of the state by the early to mid-morning time frame. Blowing snow remains into the afternoon, however, long after the accumulating snow is said and gone. So if I were to adjust anything here, just looking at new data over the past half hour or so, might adjust the Bismarck 5-8 down a little bit. Move this a little bit farther toward the east here, but again, awaiting on a few more models to come in as this system is still taking shape. Still, pockets upwards of 15 inches. Perhaps a bullseye would be in the Jamestown area all the way up toward Grand Forks. A large area of 8 to 12 inches of snow. And just even if we cut this in half, it's still enough to produce a lot of road closures because the winds will be at times over 50 miles per hour after midnight. Dickinson still think maybe 2, 3, possibly up to 4 inches here, but Bismarck-Mandan, we are straddling that line. It's right through the Bismarck-Mandan area any storm deviation at all is going to greatly impact the amount of snow we do receive. Right now, maybe trending a little, just a hair farther toward the east. So our forecast for tomorrow, temperatures near freezing, 7-day forecast. Once we get beyond this system, we'll see conditions rapidly improve. Look at this for Friday. Yeah, breezy, but 31 degrees. The upcoming weekend, including St. Patrick's Day on Sunday, highs in the low to mid 30s here. A nicer stretch for next week. Maybe a few snow showers Tuesday. Wow, that's it. Looking pretty good. So tonight, things might be a little slow to get going, but they will eventually. Later in the night from north or from south to north, conditions will be getting worse.
And you and your team will be here throughout.
No matter what. Country Morning today, we have a lot of fun things planned as well.
All right, thank you very much.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
Even though most of the weather problems have been to the east and south of us, that doesn't mean conditions are just fine elsewhere. The Highway Patrol says a driver rear-ended a westbound snowplow this morning on I-94 about 6 miles west of Mandan. So let's go to Kevin Lawrence now for the latest on what's been going on out there. Kevin.
Hey, Monica, Al, thank you very much. Good evening. Well, new information over the past hour from the DOT. As far as the roads that are closed now, they're not going to open today at all. They will remain closed tonight. They will not open until sometime tomorrow. No telling when, but just know that if it's closed now, it will not open today. So we continue with I-94 being closed, Bismarck to Fargo, I-29 from Fargo to the Canadian border, of course, going both ways here, and US 2 from Devils Lake to Grand Forks. This is why. Look at I-94 at Tappan. This could be a lot of black ice underneath the blowing snow. So the plows haven't even gotten out in many areas because they're still trying to rescue some stranded vehicles on the road. They got to clear that first before they can clear the interstate. Look at I-94 at Medina. Again, covered in snow. It's going to take all night for the crews to work the roads here. Ashley as well. The snow is so deep, it's got no place to go but over. Where's the road? You see it? North Dakota 13. You get the idea. And in the Wishick area, roads are completely blocked. Look at that. And all the snow is drifting back on anywhere that there would happen to be. Any clearing doesn't last long at all. Ashley, topping the list of the reports received so far, 17 inches of snow. Edgeley of 14, Ellendale at 12 inches. This was a true blizzard for many places. Let's be thankful it didn't hit everywhere. But I'll talk about why there was a snow hole over Bismarck coming up a little bit later on.
I'm hoping it's a slow but steady melt, Kevin.
And that's right. Even though we only got about 1.5 inches in the Bismarck-Mandan area, that's a blessing, I think, because it's a big difference just about 25 miles to the east. Again, once again, road closures here. Nothing opens tonight. It's what's closed now stays closed all night. These roads will not open. Most of the eastern half of the state regarding roads will remain closed the remainder of the night until sometime tomorrow. All right, let's talk about a few more of these photos here. Again, Kathy Nelson showing the drifts here in the Streeter area. I know it's kind of hard to tell, but some of these drifts about 5 to 10 feet high. Look at this one in Mobridge, about, again, 5 to 10 feet. Mobridge really got hit hard with the blizzard that went on for several hours yesterday in north central South Dakota. Nadine, thank you for that Sky Spy photo. How about this one? Now, this is a highway. It's Highway 34, in fact, west of Napoleon. Joe out there going to his father's ranch, feeding the cattle, got to get the job done on a payloader, trying to help clear the highway as well. Joe, thank you for that Sky Spy photo. It's an amazing thing, and just hats off to all the ranchers, everybody out there knowing the job has to get done, no matter how it has to get done. And look at this one. This is from Rachel, Highway 36 east of Robinson. Snowplow operator decided earlier today, you know what, can't do it. It's too deep here. We'll have to come back later on and clean it up. That's what we're dealing with. So what happened last night? SkyTracker Doppler radar here over a long loop here. Talk about history of this storm. Here's what happened in the Bismarck-Mandan area and why it wasn't bad. Unforeseen at the time because all of this would have been filling in, but too much dry air in the mid layers of the atmosphere, and that was discovered by mid-evening. After schools were already canceled, and by the way, I believe rightfully so, because there's just no telling that we're going to have something like this happen until it was too late. But you got to give enough warning for school cancellations. So here we go. Right here, nothing, snowing all around us until about midnight or shortly thereafter. Everything then kind of closes in. Then we got about 1 inch to 2 inches of snow. It could have been so much worse, and it was. Just a few miles to the east, it was an all-out blizzard that went on for hours and hours. So there we go. It could have been a lot worse. By the way, it was snowing heavily in Bismarck, several thousand feet up for several hours yesterday, but it was evaporating before making it to the ground. That was our saving grace the dry air coming in from Canada. 36-mile-per-hour winds right now in the Bismarck-Mandan area, but look at this. Still winds gusting over 45 in the Red River Valley. Our temperatures right now near freezing, so a lot of black ice again for tomorrow, but absent of the wind. A much better day tomorrow. And look at the longer term here. We turn the 30s into 40s and no big storms other than a few flurries Saturday, but no more storms we have to shovel out of for a while.
Well, hats off to you and your team. You guys have really been putting in a lot of hours.
It's been an interesting couple of days, or even weeks for that fact.
Yeah.